Hello everybody, it's Michael Hollands once again for Sound of the Movies. Today I have the pleasure to be joined by Diane Warren. For more than 3 decades, Diane Warren has written countless hit songs, collaborating with the best artists in the world, including Laura Branigan, Cher, Loaf, Celine Dion, Ace of Base, Anastacia, Dionne Warwick and many more. However, she not only made tremendous impact in the pop music world, she also made major contributions to several hit movies such as Armageddon, Pearl Harbor, Coyote Ugly, and most recently A Star is Born and RBG, a film which tells the inspirational story of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Welcome, Dionne.
Hey, good, nice meeting you. You have an old bio of mine. There's a lot of artists that weren't on there.
Yeah, too many, and
you kind of cut out the artists of the last 20 years.
I had to kind of shorten it and compress it because the list is so enormous, and if anybody looks up the songs you wrote for any artist, it's such a tremendous list, and it's too long to put in one interview actually.
Good.
Diane, how did you develop the skill and craftsmanship to write all of those songs?
I showed up and I did the work. It sounds simple, but it's simple and hard at the same time, isn't it? This is just what my passion, it's what I've always done. And I've just always done it since I was a kid. So I still do what I do now, like I do what I've always done, It's as simple as that, really.
And you started in the late 70s with the song Just Another Night by Anna Lewis, and fairly quickly you started working with some high-profile artists such as Laura Branigan, Barbra Streisand, also Melissa Manchester. How did all of this happen so fast? How did you get the foot in the door, and how did this amazing career happen?
Well, a break of mine was being signed by Jack White, who's a big producer. A big German producer. You know him, right?
Yeah.
And he was producing Laura Branigan, and he did a couple of my songs with her, and I wrote lyrics to a song called Solitaire. And then through him, I was at Aerosmith Publishing, and I did a song called Rhythm of the Night, which was my first big hit, which was from a movie, actually, Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon. So, yeah, I mean, how did I get my foot in the door? Just because I kicked down the door, basically. I didn't just put my toe in. I just kind of put my whole foot in and kicked hard.
Do you start writing at the piano and keyboard and then write lyrics afterwards, or what comes first for you personally?
I mean, I play guitar as well, but mainly keyboards. But it's just always different. My process is always different. I have a title. Sometimes I'll just play some chords and something will come, or on my guitar, something kind of different. I started out playing guitar and writing everything on guitar, and then taught myself piano. And now I do both, but probably mainly keyboards. It's hard to analyze what I do. Sometimes it's just I'm playing around some cool chords and seeing what happens.
Do you perform vocals yourself to create a demo of the song and then present it to the artist who will perform it?
It depends. Sometimes I do, because I know I'm not going to intimidate anybody because I suck. But I use a better singer. I have singers I use that I use a lot. But sometimes I'll do it just to kind of get the point across.
Do you approach certain artists as you feel they are the best performers for your songwriting, or how does it usually happen when you have an idea?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I'll write something, and if I get around to demoing it, a lot of times I go on to the next song, and I'll think, that's a perfect song for so-and-so, or, I'll just have ideas, and I don't feel weird about calling somebody, so I'll reach out to an artist. Or people call me and ask me if I have something, and I'll go, that song I wrote 3 songs ago is perfect. I just did a song with Elle King, who I love, and I wrote this song a couple of months ago, and I thought, God, it's a perfect song for Elle King, who did X's and O's. And I met with her, and I love her. I met with her, and we just did the song a couple of days ago. It's so great. I'm really excited about it. It's better than I heard in my head.
Great. Has there ever been any artists you had to actually convince to perform one of your songs?
A lot of times. Yeah. I mean, I'm always convincing somebody to do something, most famously probably Cher would, If I Could Turn Back Time, because she hated the song.
Really?
She refused to do it. her A&R guy, John Kolodner, loved the song, and he kept playing it for her, and she said, I hate it. I hate that song. And so I went to the studio when she was doing another song of mine, and she was in the lounge, and I just go, you know what? The song you're doing that in the studio now, it's like nothing compared to this one. You have to do the song. She goes, I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I'm not doing it. I literally got on my knees and grabbed hold of her leg, and I said, tell me you're going to try it. She goes, let go of my fucking leg, Diane. I wouldn't do it. And I go, look, I'll pay for it. I'll pay for the production. Just, if you don't like it, you don't have to do it. And then she goes, okay. And I remember sitting in the vocal booth, not in the vocal booth, but in the studio when she was out doing her vocal, and the way she looked at me, it's like, you bitch, you were right. Of course I was right.
That's quite a story. So even somebody as accomplished and successful as you have to sometimes struggle over the lyrics, over music, over the whole production.
I still have to convince people sometimes,
Okay.
that hey, just try it,
Okay.
And then sometimes somebody does you a favor if they don't do your song, and then somebody better comes along. So you never know. But yeah, if I really believe in it, I'll do everything I can to get someone to at least try it.
Like I mentioned in my introduction, you have written so many songs, too many that I could possibly list here. Will there be a new comprehensive kind of CD collection of your most important songs, or like kind of to go from decade to decade to release the most important pieces?
What do you mean? Do like a greatest hits album kind of a thing or something?
Yeah, so like a greatest hits or a double, triple CDs collection or something like that. Something.
That would be cool. To be honest, I'm always on about what's next, and what I'm doing now, what I'm doing next. But yeah, somebody could put together something like that. That'd be great. I'd be all for it. I wouldn't have time to, do it myself. You know what I mean? Because I'm onto all the other stuff I'm doing. Like I don't look in the rearview mirror, in other words.
Yeah, I can totally understand. Diane, when did you first get in touch with recording artists and the film industry? You've worked on a couple of movies and several movies. How did that happen?
I've always kind of done songs for movies, and like my first, big hit was Rhythm of the Night.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was from The Last Dragon. One of the Laura Branigan songs I did was in a movie, the first Ghostbusters movie. So that's one of the first songs I ever had recorded was in Ghostbusters. And then I just, I've always just done songs for movies. I think when I was my dad paid for me to, as long as I was going to college, he was helping support me. And I went to college for, a couple of years. Well, junior college and then regular college. And I took a lot of film classes because I didn't have to do anything. So I could sit in the back of the classroom and just, work on my songs. And I think like almost subliminally, I kind of, learned maybe how to write songs for movies. I don't know,
And the films you write for deal with a variety of subjects. You've done action movies like Con Air and also Pearl Harbor, which is now romance and action combined. Which movie song would you say was the most difficult to write?
I think the most challenging was the Pearl Harbor song, Where You'll Be, because Jerry Bruckheimer, who produced the movie, kind of, kept, having me rewrite it 20 times to where I was like,
I bet, yeah. I've heard Jerry Bruckheimer is very specific and has artists rewrite countless times. And
yeah, he did that. And I've done a lot with Jerry. I did Pearl Harbor, I did Coyote Ugly, I did Armageddon with the Aerosmith song, and
yes,
other things. And one of my favorite movies was Gone in 60 Seconds, where I did a song for The Cult.
Yes.
Nobody knows that song, but it's a really good song. But, he just kind of had me put me through the ringer on that one, and finally he was satisfied, but that was a hard one.
One of my personal favorites was featured in Con Air, a song you wrote performed by Leanne Rimes, which is called How Do I Live?
Yeah, yeah.
Personally, one of my all-time favorite songs, and of course it was featured on the Leanne Rimes album, but it was not included on the Con Air soundtrack. Can you tell me why that was? Was it licensed?
It was a Trisha Yearwood's version was probably on that, right? 'Cause there was two different versions at the same time that came out. It's a long story, but Leanne, Jerry wanted some changes in Leanne Rimes' version of How Do I Live, and her dad/producer didn't want to change anything. Even though I told him, just do it for the movie. It's you could still have your record and it'll be great. And just for, you got to always change things to fit a scene and stuff like that. And he didn't want to change anything. So Jerry, asked if it was okay for Trisha, for the movie. And I go, yeah, as long as I don't have to pull it from Leanne, because she did a beautiful version of it. So to kind of, long story short, there were two versions of the song. And Leanne's version of How Do I Live is the biggest female song in the history of Billboard. Still is to this day.
Huge.
Which is pretty great. I don't know how many singles it sold, like 25 million, something crazy, 30. I don't even know how many millions of singles it sold. And then Trisha Yearwood, her version was her biggest country record. And, she had a greatest hits album that sold like, 8 million records. So, it did really well. It was cool having, both versions of that song. They were very different. One was like very young, was like Leanne was 14 at the time, so she could, who knows what she was feeling. I mean, you know about pain when you're a kid though, so
yeah,
she tapped into something. And then Trisha was more, more lived in, more mature. I thought they were both great versions, to be honest.
Absolutely. What is your criteria for taking on a project? What do you look for? How does a pop artist or a director get you to write a song?
Well, they call me and tell me about it, or they email me, or however. And if it's something I'm interested, I feel like I could contribute, then I will.
When you work with all of these artists, do you usually exchange ideas? I mean, you write the song and the artist comes in, like Celine or say Loaf or Laura Branigan or even Lady Gaga. Do you then juggle with ideas? Do they kind of bring in their own interpretation besides from performing it?
It's really their own interpretation, because at that point when an artist does my song,
of course, yeah,
it's their record. So I'm kind of like, I kind of step to the side, to be honest. Yeah, I kind of step to the side and let it be what they want it to be. I mean, unless something's really wrong or something, and I happen to be in the studio, I'll mention something. But I have to kind of walk away a bit.
Many of today's hits seem to be somewhat interchangeable to a degree, and they often don't stick with an audience. When you write a song, it feels distinctive and poignant and also very expressive. What do you think, what does it take to come up with a musical track, a lyrics that means something, or a song that really moves people and that also stands the test of time?
I mean, it's hard to define it. I try to do it. So, I mean, you never know if it stands the test of time until it stands the test of time. Right?
Yeah.
But I've been really lucky that a lot of my songs have kind of become, like little classics, if you will, So that's really cool. And I just, every time I write something, even if it's a fun song, I want it to be something that holds up.
You wrote songs for movies that deal with an important subject matter, such as The Hunting Ground, for instance. And you wrote the song called Till It Happens, which was performed by Lady Gaga. Did you try to write expressive lyrics first and then work on the music, or how did you work on that picture?
I mean, it's the same kind of thing. I think of an idea, or I'm playing chords, you know what I mean? It's kind of like that. I get inspired by what I see or what I read or what I hear. And I just kind of, it's like a computer in my head.
You had worked with Lady Gaga again on A Star Is Born, a film which was recently released and which will also be a contender in the award season. And
not my song with her.
Excuse me?
I did the song when she's on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
It's called Why Did You Do That? It's not exactly an Oscar song, but it was a really fun song. It was a song that when she became a star, that she did on Saturday Night Live.
One of the songs, Owl Fights, which you wrote for the film RBG.
That's pretty opposite from, Why Did You Do That, right?
It's absolutely the direct opposites. The film is very inspiring, and of course it deals with a tremendous person, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And
She's okay, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She has to be okay. Because right now it's scary with, what she's going through,
Yeah.
But they found cancer, but they said it's okay. fact, they just had a doctor on TV saying, no, she's fine, and they got it all. I'm like, everybody out here in America is like, you can have my lung, you can, it's okay. Like everybody's standing in line to give her their lungs at this point.
Yeah, I mean that's goes to show how inspiring and how important she is as a person to the general public.
Yeah, yeah, she's great, and it's like it was cool, an amazing thing to be able to write the song for the movie. And
I hope you will get your 10th Oscar nomination for that one.
I'm just going to lose again because I think Gaga's pretty locked in to win this one.
You think?
Yeah, I mean, I thought my Gaga song a couple of years ago, like 3 years ago, with "Till It Happens to You," that was everybody said, "Oh, that's winning, it's winning," and like it really, literally everybody locked that in to win. But the thing is, it was from a movie that nobody saw about college, so it's hard. But she has a song from "Star Is Born," which everybody's seen and everybody loves. So it'll be hard to beat that. And I don't even care if I don't. I just want to get nominated again. It's all good.
Yeah, would be great if you won. I mean, you won a Grammy and a Golden Globe, so I think it's about time for.
Won an Emmy for "What Happens to You."
And an Emmy, of course. But it's about time you won an Oscar, and you certainly deserve it.
I don't think it's there though. It won't be like if I get nominated, that'll be a win in itself, and I'd really be happy about that.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
And the song you wrote for RBG was performed by Jennifer Hudson.
Yeah.
And did you get involved with the music video production as well for this one?
Did I get involved in the video?
Yeah, I mean the production, how it's presented, and the whole setup, and.
Well, I mean, I wasn't even there for the vocal, but I was there for the video because her label wouldn't pay for the video, so I ended up paying for it, and we only had 2 days to do it, and so that was crazy, but we got it done. And this amazing video director named Tabitha Denholm did it, and like literally in like 2 days' notice. And that video is great. I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah, I did. Sure.
And then her vocal is fantastic, and it's always amazing to have someone like Jennifer Hudson sing your songs. That's the thing, is I'm so lucky to be able to work with the singers I've been able to work with, and I continue to be able to work with.
Why wouldn't the label pay for the video? Did they mention any specific reasons?
Welcome to my life. I don't know. They just, who knows? She didn't have an album coming out at that moment, but it's a singles world these days, so I don't know. So I had to get it done. We only had a couple of days, so.
Okay. Yeah, it's
but
pretty.
It's a great video.
It is. Great song, great video, and I'm surprised they kind of wouldn't pay because, as you are involved, and also Jennifer Hudson, who's also an Academy Award winner, and she's also an accomplished artist, so it would only make...
It was kind of surprising, and I also, it became like a dance hit, like got to number 3 on the dance charts here.
Do you think the film, or a film of this kind, will help to make a difference in terms of equality for women, as this is still very talked about today and in every field of profession, basically, not only in movies but in every profession? What is your take on that?
I mean, I think she's such an inspiring woman. I think she, like with Bader Ginsburg, I think she is inspiring generations. Like there's this store out here called Kitson, and their biggest it's all kids, it's all teenagers and stuff. Their biggest merchandise was Ruth Bader Ginsburg, T-shirts and coffee mugs, and it's sold out. And so you think like that's a pretty good sign, like that, how inspiring this one particular woman is. To way younger generation. She's 85 years old. She's like, the notorious RBG. She's like a rock star.
Yeah, I came across the slogan "Notorious RBG," or there is no truth without roof, or something like that.
Yeah, it's a great. I saw a coffee cup they had there that had that. Yeah, I mean it's true. So anytime you see someone that can make a difference, it's great.
What is your take on the current situation for women in the world of songwriting and also film music?
I mean, with women composers, it's harder. I've never had a problem because I'm a woman. Either someone wanted a song or they didn't. What's hard right now is for female composers, and there's some really great ones out there.
Yes.
And some of them are really dear friends of mine, and it's hard. You know, they don't always get the big movies, the big studio movies, and they should, because they're fucking amazing composers. They're just as good as the best guys, if not better than some of the best guys. I mean, so, you know, I think there was something like, you know, they just did some survey, like 4% of the big studio movies are, you know, composed by women and directed, something under 10%.
Yeah, certainly. I really hope there's going to be an about face, and
I think there will be, you know, if things happen slowly, but
the wheels turn slowly indeed. But I hope there is going to be some change in that, because, as you said, the women deserve it, and there are so many talented ones out there. And
what I really can't stand is when it's like female composer, female songwriter. Just do you say male composer, male songwriter? Like, why do you have to like put because it's a woman in a box?
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's
me. Female director. Come on.
Yeah, I mean I agree with you. I mean, it's total nonsense, because a good composer is a good composer and a good director is a good director. Well, it's all basically politics, and it's so so unfair at times.
Yeah, but I think it is going to change. I think it is changing. You know, maybe slowly, but it's changing.
I sure hope so. Diane, I know you're very busy at the moment. Can you tell me what you're currently working on and what's next for you?
Oh, I'm doing lots of stuff, lots of exciting things. I was just in with Elle King. She's great. I'm going to be in next week with a girl named Dia, a new artist who's awesome. I love her. I'm working on Ally Brooke from Fifth Harmony's album, doing a few songs on that, including a current one called "The Truth Is in There," and like lots of movies, lots of great songs coming. There's a movie coming in 3 weeks called Miss Bala that Gina Rodriguez stars in, and I wrote a song called "Call the Shots" that's sung by her name's Leslie Grace. She's going to be a huge Latin artist. She's becoming huge already. So lots of stuff coming, lots of exciting stuff.
Diane, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. I really appreciate it. It was an honor and a privilege talking to you, and I wish you all the best and good luck with your future projects.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, bye. See you.